Thanks for joining us. Multiple drone attacks have hit the city of Port Sudan early on Tuesday. A fuel depot has been hit, as well as the airport and a hotel in the centre of the city. No casualties have been reported so far. Port Sudan is a major hub for the Sudanese military, which has been in conflict with the paramilitary rapid support forces for more than 2 years. The coastal city has been one of the few places in Sudan to avoid bombardment. That is until Sunday, when the RSF targeted it for the first time. Hiba Morgan is in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, monitoring all these developments happening on the Red Sea coast in the port city of Sudan. Hiba, what more are we learning about the scale and the impact of this string of attacks there?
Well, what we do know is that this is the third attack since Sunday by drones, by the paramilitary rapid support forces. And this time around, it targeted multiple positions, starting with the port itself, where there was a fuel depot, leading to huge plumes of smoke rising from around the port itself. And then you have the airport. That's the only international functioning airport in the entire country that is once again being hit by the paramilitary rapid support forces. Now, because of the targeting of the drones to the airport operations has been suspended. Civilians who were there hoping to leave the country or who have just arrived into the country have been evacuated from the airport. And it's not clear the extent of the damage and whether the airport would be able to resume operations on the same day as it was able to on Sunday. But what we do know is that this time around, according to sources and authorities, the attack is much larger. We also know that a hotel at the center of the city or close to the center of the city was hit. Now, that hotel is close to the vicinity of government buildings, including the presidential guest house, which is where the head of the government and the Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan receives visitors, and it's where his offices are. Now, that hotel close to that government buildings and to the presidential guest house has also been targeted. No word yet of casualties, but we know that the hotel has been evacuated as well as a result of the strike. So lots of strike, multiple places being hit by the paramilitary rapid support force, and it's not clear yet if there are any civilian casualties.
And Hiba, given that Port Sudan is essentially the de facto seat of government in the country, given the 2-year-long conflict, it does raise the question, what kind of impact an attack like this, the third in the 3 consecutive days, has on the government and the army's ability to function?
Well, the first impact is not on the government and the military, but on the civilians themselves. When we spoke to people, they said they woke up panicking because the first thing they were able to hear or they were able to wake up to was the sounds of explosions. And many of them have fled from places like Khartoum, which is the capital, from Jazeera state, from Sinnar, hoping to seek refuge in the city of Port Sudan. So for them to wake up to the sound of explosions was very traumatizing. They said they knew immediately that something was wrong before they were able to see the plumes of smoke. Now, when it comes to the government, the response is that you're seeing the government trying to find ways to tell the civilians what's happening. There's yet to be an official announcement, an official statement from the government. But we've seen how they've responded during the first attack on the airport when they had to suspend operations because the air traffic tower as well as the civilian section of the airport was hit, in addition to the military airbase, which is just adjacent to the civilian airport. On Monday, the rapid support forces also attacked another fuel depot. Now, that took hours for the Sudanese government to respond to. They had to seek assistance from, for lack of better words, let's say friendly countries to be able to put out the flames resulting from the attack on the fuel depot on Monday. And so people are quite concerned that this time around, because it's multiple attacks, including a fuel depot and at the airport and several plumes of smoke rising, they're quite concerned that it will take the government some time to respond, that it would lead to a halt in operations at the ports. Now, it's not just any port, it's the main ports in the country. That's where goods for market supplies come in through, but that's also where humanitarian assistance comes through to the people who are in need here, 30 million people in need. So there are quite concerns, a lot of concerns amongst people that because of the targeting of the main port, operations would be halted there as well, and that would lead to scarcity in supplies in the market and shortage of humanitarian assistance, which is desperately needed by people here.
All right, Hiba, for now, many thanks for that. Hiba Morgan there, monitoring all the developments of this multiple drone attack on the strategic city of Port Sudan, the third attack in 3 consecutive days on that vital location, of course, where international aid enters the country. Hiba, many thanks.